Hi, everyone. Susan Gerbeck from Psychics Explained. I am catless and chickenless today. Oh, I said the word cat, and I think I heard a meow. So, so many mediums, psychic mediums out there. So I stumbled across this guy. His name is Medium Drew, Drew, and he is Cali, Drew Cali, Cali, I think is his name. Anyway, never heard of the guy before. And I started listening to his video and I said, no, I don't want to listen to this twice. I've got to share it with you guys so that I don't have to listen to it a second time. Well, he's going to end up doing readings and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get to that right now. What I want to do is the beginning of his video. This was recorded in April. Oh, it was released April 27th, 2023. I'm recording my video September 6th, 2025. So it's a couple years old. He has 727 subscribers, which is like less than nothing, considering I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers and I have less than nothing. If he's less than half of mine, then that's nobody. And I say that, I know it sounds petty, but look, if you're communicating with dead people, you should have more than 700 views whenever you're making videos and you're putting the videos up of you connecting to dead people. Oh, yeah. See, here, there is a cat here. Imogen decided she'd show up here. She's within head scratching range, so I can scratch her head a little bit there. This is my old kitty that has arthritis. Okay. So, so Medium Drew looks very professional. His setting looks really nice. He has a dog in the chair behind him. It looks really nice. It looks like a very nice man. Now, what I'm encountering a lot, what I'm encountering a lot lately, and this project of mine is evolving over time where I am trying to get my mind around how to explain this to the greater world of what exactly is going on with psychic mediums. Now, we know all the tricks and all that kind of stuff. And we've also learned, you and I together here on this channel have really come together to learn that it's almost always not about what the medium's doing. It's about what the sitter wants. So the sitter is the one who's making them successful by buying into it, by, giving them like, oh yeah, that's right, validating it, and then giving testimonials later and just going along with it because they want and need it to be real. So one of the things, it's becoming a little more evident that a lot of psychic mediums have talked themselves into it, that they probably do not realize that they're cold reading and that they are really not in connection with the dead. I mean, I'm saying that they're not out to defraud people. I don't know. Well, I'm not psychic, so I can't get into anybody's head, but I don't know at what point does that change where the trigger's set and they go, I gotta kind of, I'm not really feeling it with this person, but I really got to be real. So I'm going to just say something off the top of my head. Hopefully, spirit put it in my head. And then the person validates it because, they really want this reading. I'm not really sure where that happens, that change happens, but it seems that people who get into the careers later in life where they are on TV and they have to perform, and those kind of people like the Matt Frasers, the Tyler Henrys, the Teresa Caputos, come on now, they know exactly what they're doing. And if you have to hot read, in other words, find information on somebody ahead of time, well, then the gloves are off. Darn well that you're cheating because you're looking people up on the internet to get hits to repeat back to the person as if you're really in contact with the dead. I think I remember Mark Edwards telling me once about a guy who got called out, got caught hot reading. I can't remember the man's name. It was a long time ago. And the guy's defense was, they make me cheat. I have to be right. So I have to be accurate. So the sitters, make me cheat. They make me have to do that because I have to. And what you would think, though, if you thought you were in contact with the dead and you just are getting a blank, um, that you just refund the money and you just say, I'm really not getting anything. It's like you're a blank person. There's nothing coming through to me, and I don't know why. It might be me, it might be you, it might be some connection. I have no idea, but I'm really sorry, but I am getting nothing. I could see a medium doing that who really believes that they communicate with the dead, because I can't see how they would always be on. Okay, that's putting aside the fact that I know nobody's communicating with the dead. Come on. Come on now. Come on now. So the other point that I do want to point out is that when you've been doing it a long time and you just wrote memorization, throw out the same cliches, the same Barnum statements over and over and over and over for decades. Some of these people we've seen do it. Suzanne Northrop comes to mind, and Matt Frazier and Tyler Henry tend to do the same thing. They throw out the exact same phrase. Blur just did a Blur from Florio's Phantom Files, another YouTube channel that really takes a deep dive into these psychics. She did one on Teresa Caputo, and it was just like, Teresa always says that line. Here she is saying this line, and she says the line again. She says the line again. Different shows, it's always the same verbiage. John Edward does the same thing. And when you're at that point, I think you would have to know that you're not real, because why would the dead always tell you the same thing in the same cadence, the same words? Why would they always do that? Like, my favorite is Suzanne Northrop, because she would always say these things about it. Is there a car that has been passed down? I'm getting a car, or it might be a truck that somebody had, and then it got passed down to somebody else. I mean, she says that, I've seen it said multiple times. And it's like, why would the dead always say that to you? Or say that to you enough that Susan Gerpick, who doesn't follow you that closely over the years, and she's been doing it for decades, but I've noticed that same phrase come through. So it just seems silly. So on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel that we have, this little community we've started up, and I appreciate it so much, you guys. Some of the comments that have been coming in, oddly, since I've been doing the videos on psychic medium Dean, Dean, I've been getting people saying, I'm a psychic medium and I know that he's real, and I've been doing it for 20, 50, 30 years or whatever. And I never look at people's Facebook pages. I never look at their social media. I only ask for a first name. I never, and darn it, most psychics don't look at Facebook and social media. Most psychics and mediums cold read. That I've said that for years. Hot readers are really rare. But if you asked a general audience of people out there, I mean, even the psychic medium world, and you asked them what's the tricks that's going on, they would say, oh, I think psychics who are fake are looking things up. Most psychics look things up. It's just not true. It's very hard to find a hot reader. Well, I shouldn't say hard. It's just not as common. It's probably, oh gosh, I'm going to give you a statistic, whether it's real or not. Maybe 90% of the time it's somebody cold reading. And then the other part of the time, they might be kind of a little mix, and maybe they took a little peek at something. Of course, if you've read somebody once before and you're reading them again, that's a form of hot reading. So just don't even go there, Don't even try it with me. But these mediums are coming to me in my comments and saying, I am a psychic medium. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know that it's real. It's like, and I know it's real because I don't cheat. I don't look at their Facebook pages. And I'm like, you are cold reading. You just don't know you're cold reading. You've never had anybody criticize you. You've never had anybody come in with like hard facts and say, okay, that was a Barnum statement. That was wordplay. Listen to how you just gave initials and the sitter responded with initials. That was the law of large numbers. You threw out this thing that was hopscotching or hop skipping or whatever these people say. It's not you. It must have, the spirit must have jumped to the person next to you. Oh no, it's a person behind you. They don't get any feedback like that from a skeptic like myself or somebody who's much more educated in this world like you guys are now. Anyway, so anyway, I pulled up this medium Dean Drew person and I started listening to him and he's going to expose somebody who's a fraud. And this guy takes a long time to talk. I'm apologizing. He's worse than I am as far as his cadence is slower, but he seems very intelligent and so on. I think I'm going to let him go a little bit and talk about how he trained, which is hilarious because he says he trained not in a 4-year university. No, not like that. I trained in a spiritual university and I went weekends for weeks and I trained with, and he dropped some names of people who nobody's ever heard of. And they were really wonderful. And we were trained by going to these weekend seminars. And they did it for love, not for money. It's like, okay, well, thanks for being honest about your lack of education. What is really galling is what I'm going to let him talk about. He starts talking about spiritualism manifesting like you could touch it, spiritualism. And he starts talking about stuff from the 1890s, 1880s at the beginning, like the Fox sister stuff, the Davenport brother stuff, ectoplasm, cabinets. Oh my God. I can't believe it. Anybody in 2025 with an ounce of any like intelligence who could Google this would believe in this. It is so debunked. I mean, this is the stuff Harry Houdini was catching people for right and left. I'm from the magic world, right? Mark Edward was a mentalist. And the stuff he's describing is just blatant, right, straight up magic tricks. I mean, just it's a pitch black room. You can't see anything. Yeah, that's because there's somebody in there wandering around doing tricks, or they're using magic, methods to get out of the ties. It's so obvious. But this guy with a straight face is like, yeah, well, this is what's really going on. I was there. I saw it. I'm like, stop. I'm showing you guys. I'm showing my channel. Okay. So let's check this guy out. I'll try to keep a straight face. I can do this. The dog is adorable. Okay. And he looks like a very nice man. Where it goes wrong, I don't know. But we're just going to look at the stuff where he's talking about this and not go into the where he does readings with somebody. I got so excited. I shared it without sharing the sound. Oh my gosh, Gerbic, I can't be doing that. Comments, you guys. You have to like, subscribe, hit the little bell that tells you when I'm going to do another video, and you got to leave me comments. I love reading your guys' comments. You spur me on to do more videos, and I look at these things and I go, oh my gosh, I never heard of that person. All right. So this is the beginning. He's going to call out some medium that I look up, and it is somebody from the old days who had been totally totally bunked. But let's see, how far am I going to let this go? It's so hard to listen to all this, especially since I already listened to it once.
Mentoring with Paul Jacobs for about a year. It was like 3 or 4 day weekends up near Cape Cod in the States. That's why I did it in person. I did a Tony Stockwell mentorship for a little bit online. Didn't take. So I've been around the block. Janet Nahovac was my first go-to person.
No idea who that
If you
is.
don't know her, she was a nun, or almost took her vows, and then started a spiritualist church called the Journey Within in
Never
Pompton
heard of
Lakes,
it.
New Jersey. She passed away, unfortunately, late last year. And I posted on my Facebook page about a medium named Gary Mannion, that he's a fraud. I've never done that before. I don't post negative things about other people. I don't make it a habit. I have no skin in the game. It doesn't benefit me.
Oh yeah,
I saw that they were doing events in the Schenectady area. Because I go up to Saratoga a lot, and I just did the Mind, Body, Soul Expo with Jennifer Rhodes, Jem Rhodes,
never
a
heard of him.
fantastic person to put things together.
Never heard of him.
Sorry.
Don't
And
brag
when I
about
saw
yourself.
his face and I saw the flyer, it really brought me back. I was in England when he was caught on a hidden camera cheating. He's a physical. I was sitting with this gentleman named Scott Milligan, who was authorized as a temporary tutor by
Never
Arthur
heard of
Findlay
him.
College to teach trance,
Never heard of him.
trance. Trance states can lead to the state of physical mediumship. Trance is a portion of mental mediumship. Mental mediumship is the mediumship you see most of the time. Physical mediumship, physical mediumship that I've experienced, which is a decent amount of authentic physical mediumship. You sit in a room, you get checked before you go into the room, literally, so you're not carrying any objects. They can't say a pen fell out of the sky. Okay. Physical mediumship means everybody can experience the physical visitation or manifestation of spirit. Okay. Physical mediumship back in the day would be like ectoplasmic, the word from Ghostbusters, but ectoplasm is from the medium's body. It's a white kind of eggy looking substance
Cheesecloth.
that literally can manifest and create anything,
Cheesecloth.
including manifesting a spirit's being or body or head or face or hand. There's apports, which is APPORT. Now, I'm only explaining this as a precursor to what I'm about to say. Scott Milligan changed the way that I looked at trance and channeling in the States. Okay. Physical mediumship was really big back in the day when they used to sit around a fire. That's why they use sometimes a red light. There's transfiguration, which is not your face looks like it's changing. It's literally a mask 3 or 4 inches off the face that grows from the ectoplasm. Okay. I'm only sharing this because physical mediumship is a beautiful part of the craft that we do, and it's a very rare one. Gordon Higginson was probably one of the most well-known within the mediumship community. There's a lot of healing energy and that kind of energy. I actually would sit next to Scott or whoever was in the cabinet. It's a box with and they're locked to a chair so they can't get up and move. It's pitch black. You literally check everyone coming in. You hold arms. You sing in the seance. You lock down the room. You close off the windows with masking tape. You don't let anybody turn on the lights. It's literally a dark room except for maybe a little bit of a red light. The medium will go into trance, and then physical manifestations will happen. And I've experienced with Scott Milligan some really incredible phenomena where musical instruments were playing across the room when we're all locked arms. And I was one of the people that had to check, did he move out of the chair? And there was nothing that I found with that man. And I spent another 2 or 3 weeks with him at Aberdeen in Scotland, studying the trance states and learning and exploring and experimenting and sitting in the power and all of that. Gary Mannion got caught on an infrared camera that he didn't know was there. And it's on my Facebook page, coming out, taking off his shirt out of the cabinet. He undid his zip ties, however he did it. Maybe he snuck in a tool or someone helped him out. Would go around waving his shirt so that people would feel like a breeze. And they'd be like, oh, spirit's coming. Because you kind of start talking about the energy. Like, oh, I feel like a hand on my shoulder, but you're holding hands with everybody in the room. You can only see like a few inches in front of your face. And it's like, pitch black. So he got busted so bad he would go around touching people's noses and all stuff. And then there's a whole video of it. All right. Some of it was taken down because of, he fought to have it taken down. It was like 5 years ago ish, 2016 ish. I was overseas when this happened and they were devastated. And Scott had a temporary, kind of pass to teach as a trance teacher, specifically for trance at the Arthur Findlay College. So when Gary Mannion got busted, it was like this devastating blow because Scott was actually, there was a Banyan retreat. Scott was very supportive of Gary, and I heard him talk very highly of Gary about his healing and his trance and the physical manifestations that were starting to happen. When he got busted, I remember watching people try to defend him and then go, you know what, this is defenseless. And then, Gary came out and basically said, and devastated. From that point on, I no longer wanted to do physical mediumship because I knew in the States, because that's what I was geared to do. That's what I thought I was supposed to do. That's what I was being told I was supposed to do. I was asked to sit in circles that you would pray to be asked to be part of, including one version of, One Circle with Scott Milligan, where you would sit. Some of these mediums, Scott sat for 16 years, like 5 or 6 days a week with some of the most incredible, talented mediums before phenomenon started happening. Okay. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I got calls and I got people calling me out trying to negotiate fraud. And one of the people that I won't say the name, but somebody that's had a very, very high position at Lilydale. Lilydale has an awesome history of spiritualism and evidence-based mediumship. I got an email today while I was with my daughter running around the gym, and it was like, hey, can we talk? Because have you ever seen him? Did you ever do? I saw the video. And then, Gary Mannion came out after and literally, and I'm only saying this because I work so damn hard to not be part of any kind of scam. And you can all see that when people scam and they're like, they make these fake accounts and like, I'm drawn to you, what's your sign? And it's hard enough to do this work, and I think Tyler Henry was just nominated for an Emmy like today or yesterday, for doing this work. And then you have somebody out there that's caught red-handed on an infrared camera that he didn't think was there, walking around touching people. And his answer eventually, after he said he doesn't know what we're talking about, is that when it came out, he couldn't deny it, was that his spirit guides took his control of his physical body and made him do that. Okay. If they could take control of your physical body and make you go touch people, why didn't they just make the phenomenon happen, that's supposed to happen, which is spirit enters the room and actually becomes more physical and they can touch you. So the reason is I'm so ticked off and put off by this, that spiritualism started in New York, in the United States, and it's much more well known in the UK. And even Janet Nohovak, I remember having these conversations with her about physical mediumship, and she would say, like, there's no need for physical mediumship. We have mental mediumship. There's no need. There's no need. I was so looking forward to developing a physical circle and all this stuff. And then when he got busted, I was like, I don't want anything to do with this, because they did these tests with magicians and other people and real mediums that were physical mediums. And literally the fraud it looked better than the actual. And it was like flawless, like you couldn't tell. So in the States, it's never really going to fly. I mean, I saw one guy like sitting in a tent, this heavyset guy, I don't know his name, and he was pouring like jewelry out of his mouth. Like it looked like he stuffed it under the tent, went in the tent, put it in his mouth, came out, pretended it came out of his mouth. And there's people like, oh man, you don't know. So, and I also have people that are telling me that they sat in a circle with him and it's real. Well, I've sat with mediums where, look, he could be connected. He could be a medium. Great. He faked it, got caught. Go away. Don't come out here and start, being like, oh no, it didn't really happen, and starting taking videos down and pretending it didn't happen. He was maxed out on his friends on Facebook. He had 5,000 friends. He was maxed out and he didn't want to have a public page because he was like, oh, it's not, I don't believe in a public page. Right. And he was kind of like coming up under Scott Milligan. He's got 598 or 600 people like that are on his, personal, because I looked and I got called out by somebody, or they tried to call me out, who's promoting this event in Schenectady. No offense to her. I want these events for healing and for what I do and what other people do to be brought forth. But if somebody got caught cheating and I call you out, don't come at me and say, well, he's certified, blah, blah. He got caught cheating on film. Gary Mannion is a fraud. Whatever he does from here forward, I don't care. I feel like you need to go away, dude. So the fact that I put it out and then I'm getting emails and I'm literally, somebody wanted to have a conversation with me today because they want me to take it down and they want me to they're basically like, this is why I didn't go into spiritualism and I didn't stay teaching at Lilydale, because it becomes political. It's not about spiritual. It's political. let's just put somebody up because they're a physical medium and they're from the UK and they're, they might have this ability, but they cheated, but that's okay. We'll just put it up there. Honestly, it is beyond me that somebody could support someone who cheated on film, got caught, and is like, yeah, but did you ever really sit with him? I mean, he's really good. That's crazy. So don't tell me I can't put that post up there and start trying to justify it and ask me, like, did you ever sit next to him in a seance? Stop. Just stop.
Okay. Okay, it's enough. Oh my gosh. So, listening to this medium Drew talk about how he has gone and seen, well, Lily Dale is the place where that area is where spiritualism start with the Fox sisters. And yes, I have been there. They have the hokiest stuff you can imagine. Now, Mark Edward, my partner, this guy, that's what he did. He was a mentalist, a magician who specialized in seance from the Victorian era. Trumpets, tambourines, slates, being tied up and then getting out, pitch black rooms. It's called a dark seance. All of that, it's all a magic trick. It's all magic. And there's many methods of how it's done. And having the lights completely off is a way of making it happen. It's so nice. I've done it. I have been the helper in the room that went around and made this stuff happen. I didn't touch noses because you can't see a damn thing in the dark. Trust me. You touch what you can touch and you brush up against somebody's hair or you find a part of their body and you just barely touch it because you can't see anything in that dark. I made voices appear over the top of the table, big round table. They're holding hands. I'd make the messages, the sound of the voice come right here. I had lights, just barely like fairy lights. I did the smell of roses in the room. I did objects, apporting. He talks about apporting. I did that. I was the one throwing it onto the table, making a port. I'd take the dang tambourine off the table and shake it and throw it. I'd kick the table. I'd get under the table and grab it and shake it. That's what you do in theatrical seance. That's one way of doing it. There's lots of ways of doing it. And when they put them in these cabinets and they tie them, you know what? You know how many ways a magician can get out of a tie? Ways. I wonder if I could find this one of James Randi getting out of a tie really quick. Let me pause. Let me see if I can find it. If it come right back, then it might have been like hours, but hold on. Okay, it was just seconds for in your world, but in mine it took me a couple minutes to find this. I have not seen this in years. This is 15 years ago. This is James Randi. In 2010, I'm on a James Randi Educational Foundation cruise. It's my first anniversary-ish with Mark Edward, and it's a little grainy, but whenever you saw Mark Edward or James Randi and they looked like they were going to do something, and they didn't always warn me they were going to do something, you turned on your camera. And I had a video camera, so we didn't have phones that were that good. So I haven't looked at this in a long time ago. This is 6 minutes long. I'll show you what I need to show you. Let me see if I can pause it. Let me see if I can cue it up to where it gets to here. And like I said, it's not going to be good quality. But this is James Randi. He's 2010. He's probably 85 or something like that. And it's a bunch of skeptics. There's like 50 or 60 of us on this cruise. And we're wearing togas because it's a toga night on there. And all it is people wearing sheets. And the cruise line takes all their old bad sheets and they just like leave it on your bed when it's toga night and so that you can use their old sheets. It's kind of fun. Anyway, that's why we look so stupid. I'm recording, so thankfully you won't see me. Let's make this a little larger. And this is all on my YouTube channel, Susan Gerbick's YouTube channel. I have tons of videos because I just always was recording. Okay. I've seen Randi do this many times, but in my mind, I can remember he does it in this video. And Mark could do it too. Magicians do this. So I'm not revealing a trick. So if you're somebody who's worried about the trick being revealed, I'm not going to show you how it's done. I know Rob Palmer, my very good friend Rob Palmer, is like, I don't want to know how it's done. I don't want to know how it's done. So I have to warn him if anybody's going to expose whatever it is, how it's done. I'm not going to show you. I'm just going to show you Randy doing it. So he's like 85, like I said, something like that. Somebody challenges him and says, hey, can you do something? He's like, yeah, because Randy was always performing. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Randy's in the yellow and he's going to, I don't really know what's going to happen. So I'm not sure where to stand. So if it gets kind of messy or whatever, it's me messing up with the camera. So he's trying to get a chair. He's trying to get people to be in the chair. Now he also has to have the crowd positioned in a certain place so it isn't obvious what it is he's doing. So let him work the crowd a little bit here. Let's see what happens. I haven't seen this in probably 10 years.
All right, I'll surrender the microphone now, but listen. The magician, right?
He's trying to hold the crowd.
That gets him every time. Now, I like to do a little demonstration. This is something I invented years ago because I read the instructions in magic books as how to do it. I couldn't understand the instructions. They were badly written. So I had to get a piece of rope and try it myself, and I invented my own way of doing it. I found, by strange coincidence, I came up with.
Okay, so this is really hard to hear. He's giving away the microphone and he's saying that he couldn't understand the instructions that were written on a magic trick, so he took a piece of rope and he tried to figure out how to do it. He came up with a new way of doing this, what he's going to show us. And trust me, there's many ways of doing this. So what you're going to see is just one of many.
Somebody else had come up with a different version. I should like to have two gentlemen here on the stage, a big, strong gentleman, the bigger and stronger than all. There we go.
Okay, so he's asking for two very strong gentlemen, the bigger the better, to come up on stage. Well, it's not a stage, we're just standing around, but that's okay. Also remember that I'm on a cruise ship, so it's moving. So that's part of the reason why the camera moves. Plus the fact that I'm using a video camera, which is, high tech at the time in 2010, but.
All right, if you stand right here, sir, I'm going to use this as my. You're in my way. Stand over here. Okay. I got big ones, all right. Yeah. Okay. Now, do either one of you gentlemen happen to have a piece of rope about that long? No. No? Oh, by a stranger, someone contrived to mention it. I do have a piece right here in my pocket. Now, I will just confide in you. I don't tell my audiences this usually, but ladies and gentlemen, this particular piece of rope here is an old piece of sash cord. And I have had this and been using it in performances since I was 18 years of age. Mm-hmm. That's a long time ago. It's gone through a lot of washings. You see the end has been dipped in some glue there.
So he's showing the rope to everybody and he's saying that he's had this rope since he was 18. And I have all of Mark's magic rope, and these guys get really attached to this stuff. And I believe it's just rope. It's just I don't think it's magician rope. I mean, it might be. I just don't know. But here we go.
Going unravel. I got my ass dipped in glue too because it's going to unravel instantaneously. There'll be a whole pile of string sitting right there. I'll roll up my arms. You'll see nothing there but a pair of skinny limbs, and I'll put away my watch in a safe place. Now, trust me. We'll talk about that later, all right? Now, when each one of you hold on to one end, please, and hold on to that end, that's your end. You hold it down. Stand back a little bit to the close and see. Pull on it very tightly. Come on, hold. Okay, now bring it around on top and tie my other hand on top there, please. Don't stand in the way. Let them see the knot being formed and everything. And pull on it very tightly. That's it. Put your finger on the knot and tie another knot. Sometime this evening.
But look at all these people watching this.
All right, now pull on that very tightly. Come on.
They can see they're watching him tie this old man down.
No, tie another knot then. All right. Okay, you can let go now. Thank you. Now, all right, stand back on either side of me here. No, no. Okay. Thank you. Play your part now. Just like we rehearsed.
There's a lot of people there, so he's going to get their spot right.
I need to borrow something like a gentleman's jacket. I don't see jackets. Oh, we have a jacket right here. Thank you, sir. This is my dad. And I need, yeah, I have to bring the chair over here. Would someone bring the chair over here? Right over here.
They don't realize what's going on. So they're good.
I don't understand that. I'll never figure it out. I'm not going to work on it. But I'm going to sit down in the chair now and a little more light. Thank you. I've got to straighten out the rope once. But you know how to tie knots, don't you? Oh, you're from Australia. Australia. Yes. That is a knot, is it not? Yes. This is really tight. Wow.
Did you catch it? The guy was kind of standing in the way. Let's see if he does it again.
Stand on either side. You come up here a little bit, sir. And I've got to pass the rope underneath the legs.
Remember, I'm trying to get into a spot where I can see this, but there's so many people there.
And pull on it very tight.
So he's tying his legs together, and he's put his hands on top of the legs, and he's having them knot it, and he's telling them to pull it really tight. Look how tight. Like they're putting their weight into it.
Too much to do. All right, and now tie the knot on top, please.
And knot it on top of the knot. Tie it, knot it on top.
Sure you can do it.
He's a small man, so they don't need a lot of rope.
Oh, that's much better. Oh, they got a reef knot. Usually I get a granny knot at this point.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, right. Pull on that again, please, to make sure it's very, very tight. There we go. Okay.
There's not a lot of rope.
I'm going to ask you, sir, yes, in a second, but I want you to slide the coat over my knee and up to my shoulder on each side. No, no, you don't stand in the way. You got the audience there. They pay the bill. No, no, not that.
He's trying to get him to put the jacket over his hands, and so it's over his neck. It's like this. And then he puts his hands out to pull the jacket up. And then he puts his hands back in this. He puts his hands back in the, there's my mark. Then he puts his hands, so he takes his hands, puts them in the jacket, he covers them up with the jacket. And then the jacket starts to slide. So he pulls his hands out to grab the jacket to pull it back up. And everybody's like, oh, he's already free. And then he puts his hands in the jacket, and then he puts the rope back on, puts his hands through the sleeves, and he puts the rope back on, so it's tied back on him. It's like that, just like, boom, I'm done. And that's just one of many methods. And like I said, I didn't expose it, and I'm sorry I didn't get a really good look at that. But that was James Reddy for sure. He was always doing that kind of stuff. If I come up with some more, I'll show you. Since I'm on the subject, and because I have other work I'm supposed to be doing right now, and I don't feel like doing it right now, which means I usually make a video to talk to you guys instead, because I'm home by myself. So weird or what? I think I've shown this. There's a video of this, but there's a lot of new people to the show who to the channel who haven't seen all these things. And so, I've got to kind of talk about them different times, because I know you're not going to go back and look at all my old videos, but there is a video out there that I talk about the Weird or What seance that I was involved in with Mark Edward for William Shatner had this TV show called Weird or What. And Mark and I and Brian Denning, who's a friend of ours who has the Skeptoid podcast, we did a seance for this TV show, and we were there all day. Mark and I were there for hours and hours and hours. It's freezing cold in a warehouse, and you can listen to the video of me talking about that. But I'll show a couple video screens shots that we took from the TV show, because we did 2 seances, but what shows on TV is like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You can find it on the internet. And I think I showed in the video that I have on my channel. It's like 2 minutes of us doing a seance. But what you're going to see here, let me show you this picture. This is taken off a screenshot off of the TV screen. And what you're looking at here is an infrared camera. So there are they're recording. It's a TV. They have TV cameras in there. We had it. Mark and I had it choreographed so that I didn't bump into any of the TV cameras. We had it. It was a massive room with giant curtains around, and Mark's at this seance table with these three people that they got off of Craigslist or somewhere. I don't even really remember, but what you can see, because that's what you're looking at is infrared. So everything that is white is black in real life. So that's me in the back with my arms up. I'm about to throw a giant, I'm about to apport a giant French horn, which I have here at the house, into the middle of the table. And Mark is holding these people's hands and he's screaming and he's moving back and forth like, oh, keep me, hold me down. I'm starting to float. And the people are screaming. And I'm going to throw this darn thing there. I can only see on the back of Mark's chair, we put some glow in the dark bugs because that's all we could find that were glow in the dark. And they're little bugs that from a kid's kit we got like at a dollar store or something. I can only see that much. I can't see anything. And I'm in complete black. I had a face mask too with little pinholes, but then I was like, I mean, I really couldn't see anything. So nobody can see me. I'm standing right there. So I'm leaning on Mark because I know where Mark is because of the glow in the dark bugs that are on the back of his chair. So I'm leaning on there so that I can't see or touch anything that I'm not supposed to be seeing or touching. But that was that. Let me see. I think there's a few more. I'm talking about this stuff, you guys. Let me find some more. Oh, here's a good one. This is me. I'm in the, they have the curtains, and Mark does a story about a captain, and he this mystery and stuff like that he all made up. So it's a candle on the table, and then he blows out the candle, and he does some like so mote it shall be, and let's let the demons come in. He does a whole. It's really great. So behind the curtains, way back here is I come through the curtains. That's me right there. See, looks just like me, doesn't it? I never look better. This is like 2011, 2012. So I come out from behind here and I can barely see the back of Mark's chair has those little glow in the dark things. And so I had practiced walking back and forth and with my eyes closed so I could count how many steps I needed to take. And I'm going to go over to him and I'm trying to take something out of the back of my back pocket where I have this little light thing that I was going to do. So nobody can see me, nobody can hear me. The only people who can see anything are the TV people because they are in TV cameras and they have their remote, their what's it called? They're looking through infrared. So Mark starts off with a candle on. I guess I am telling you the story, huh? So here he is telling the story. He's about to sit down and he's talking to the people and he has a candle on. So he's getting him into the mood. That's what mediums do is they, they do a induction, like a prayer or a song or meditation to get you in the mood, to get you ready for what's going to happen. And so here's Mark's doing that. He's telling a story and every Mark was really detailed down to the old candles and old, everything was just antique. And so this is his big chair. So he's got the medium chair and we needed that medium chair because we needed space in the back to be able to put these glow in the dark bugs. I wonder if we still have them. Let's see. So then he does the story and he tells the story, then he holds everybody's hands and then he blows out the candle. Trying to see if there's anything really good to show you. Yeah, let's see. That's basically what I just showed you. Here I am, another view of me coming in. Here I am coming into the background. Now remember, everything that you see that's white is black. Well, these people are probably wearing, I don't know what they're wearing. They probably might be wearing white. I don't know. But there I am coming in. Here's another shot of me coming in, and here's another. I'm starting to come in off camera. And then oh, I have to explain what you're going to see right here. This doesn't make any sense. That's me. And I have a giant, um, like a tube, like you wrapping paper or a CV pipe or something like that. It's very large. And you have to take it. And I had to be very careful because I didn't want to touch anybody with this pole. And you have to take it and you have to put your mouth just so no air gets out around your mouth. And you take it and you lift it way up in the air and you pull it down into the middle of the table. I'd be leaning on top of Mark. And then you would put it, I'm leaning on Mark's chair. Here's Mark's chair, and here's Mark right in front of me. And I'm leaning on it. And then I get that pole that I had hidden in the curtains and I pick it up and I have to move it up really high so I don't catch anybody, hit him on the head, and then pull it down into the center over Mark's head. And then I put it on my mouth so there's nowhere there's air coming out. And then I start talking really creepy through the pole. Try it at home, you guys. It's really great. And it projects the voice to the center of the table. And the people are like, there's voices. Where are they coming from? Right. It's like, oh, this is so hokey. There is no way anybody believes this. This is just so silly. That's what I was saying. I'm like, oh, come on. Come on now. No way. And you'll see here in this frame, you can see this woman right here. And I'm pulling it over her head and she's starting to look all freaked out. She can't see anything. She has no idea I'm there. She's all pissed. She's all scared. And here I am. She will always love you. These people found out later it was a seance, that it was fake. And so I'm doing my little thing. Oh, the people are freaking out. And then I go around. Gosh, you guys, I shouldn't be telling you all this stuff. And then I go around, I'm trying to figure out where the human beings are so I can touch them. Barely touch them. You can't like tag them or anything. Like you gotta barely touch the people. And they're like, oh my God, somebody just touched me. Yeah, me. Here, I'll show you a sequence of me touching somebody. And remember, I can't see these people. This is exactly what was going on. And this guy is talking about this medium Drew. Here I am. See me right here? I'm trying to find the human being that must be in that chair somewhere over to the side. I'm not quite sure. So I'm trying to reach out without letting my legs touch her or anything. I'm trying to touch her. I have no idea. Hopefully, I'm not going to hit her in the face. And I touch her hair or her shoulder or something, just barely. And she gets all spooked. Yeah, there I am. I touched her back. She's all like, oh, and this guy's screaming. And she's like, I just I'm trying not to. Of course, I don't laugh. Yeah, she freaked. I don't know who I'm touching. I don't know what's going on. Here, look at these people's faces. I shouldn't laugh. But it's revealed afterwards that it's a show, see? Because they're on a TV show. There they are screaming. Oh, Mark had them going good. We did 2 of these that day. And some people really got into it, They said, oh, no, it was okay. It wasn't that big a deal. Let's see if I can get to where I'm throwing the objects. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let me see how many pictures. I still have this French horn. I got to get this thing out. Nobody comes to visit me, so I have nobody to share these stories with you guys. Just me and the cats, and they don't seem to care. And then, so here I am. Mark is, again, like I said, he's pulling back on these people's arms as if he's going to float. And then I'm getting ready to throw the sea up here in the top. I have a French horn. Look at this. And so here's Mark. I only know where Mark is. I don't want to hurt anybody when I throw anything. And so he's screaming, and here I have the French horn. And then you can see it there because it was part of the story. And there I'm throwing it onto the table. Boom! Really loud. Yeah, Mark was so proud of me. And I cover up my face, and I'm like, out of there. And the woman screams out. And he's like, be right back. Oh, Here's another picture. You can see a better picture of this of the French horn. There's another picture of it. I'd thrown multiple things. And then here's the lights come on, and Mark is like exhausted because that's his thing. He's just exhausted. There's this the lights come on. Sometimes he's fainted, like he's fainted. And then he releases their hands. And there's this giant French horn sitting. And they're like, wait, what? And then Mark gets up and wanders off. The whole idea was we were recreating an old seance called the Skulls. I think it's Skull Seance that was done in England, in Skulls, I think. And to reflect what it was like in the old days when they used to do these kinds of seances. Just what this guy's talking about. Ectoplasm. And we know this. There's a book out by Mary Roach. I'm sorry. I have it probably on one of my shelves here somewhere, maybe even behind me. Let me see. Here it is. I love it when they can pull out a book. Mary Roach. So Mary Roach is a journalist, and she is a type of person who writes books that are easy for the layperson to understand and read. And this book is called Spook. And she goes into libraries. She goes into a library researching this. And she goes, when people who are really famous die, sometimes their artifacts, like the writings they had or the items that they had, will be collected in a historical society or in a library or a university of some sort, university. This isn't signed. I haven't seen Mary Roach in ages, but usually this one's not signed. Anyway, science tackles the afterlife. So she goes in and she gets permission to look at the artifacts. And there's they bring out these giant library boxes, and you have to sign off that you're not going to take anything with you. They check to make sure you don't walk out with any items. You can't even take your phone in there with you. You can take like a piece of paper and pen, different kind of pencil. Every libraries have different rules. And she's going through the artifacts in this book. She's talking about how she's going through it, and she's pulling out the ectoplasm that some medium had and everything. It's cheesecloth, people. That's that stuff. Yeah, it's acting very weird. Must have been the ectoplasm. You okay, sweetie pie? Like I said, she's got really bad arthritis. She does weird things. So they take this cheesecloth. It's the stuff that you would use for baking, I think, or like I guess if you're making cheese, and it's like a fabric that's got kind of holes in it, a lot of holes in it. It's used for different things. Anyway, you can check it out. And they used to materialize these people, in dark seances out of orifices, various orifices. Now, a lot of these mediums were checked before they went into the seance. Some of them were tied down, which you can see how easy it is to get out of these ties. And what they would do is they would, it's kind of like the women, especially, there was a lot of sex and sexual overtones in mediumship in the 1890s, 1880s, 1890s, because women really couldn't work. And so they, there was a lot of, what is it called? Women trying to get the right to vote. And that world was embracing spiritualism and suffragettes. That there was a lot of overlap, because spiritualism allowed women to actually have some kind of occupation, and they could get out of their normal gender roles. So a lot of mediums were females, and they would take advantage of their sexual, they could do things that weren't necessarily kosher for a lady to do. And what they would do is sometimes some of the mediums would be naked or very close to being naked when they go into the seance room, because they would say, I can't have anything on me there's can't be anything to, I want to materialize or apport items. And I can't have that. You got to check me. So they would have people check them, like, strip them. Sometimes I guess it's supposed to be women who are other women are checking the woman, taking her behind a screen and or in another room and checking her. But what they would do is they would swallow ectoplasm, or they'd shove it up their their vagina, and they would, during the seance, they would materialize it out, or they'd vomit it up. And there's images of it all over the internet. You guys can see this stuff if you really want to. I mean, come on. There's a lot of sex going on. In some cases, Mark, like, he was really into this kind of story stuff, of this era. They would, there's reported cases, I guess it's true, of men who would come to the seance and their wife would materialize. There's your wife. And it was actually a woman. And she's here for you now. And he could take her into the other room, have relationships with his wife, and then come back to the seance or whatever. It was like a prostitution. But that's how they got away with it. So he wasn't having sex with a prostitute. He was having sex with his wife, because he knew damn well it wasn't his wife. Of course not. Unless he's deluded or something. I don't know. But humans are really interesting. Oh, we've gotten way off the subject, right? Okay, I'm so sorry. Hope I'm recording, because I'm not doing this again. The point is, this guy, Medium Drew, is so like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. The stuff he's thinking he sees. He reminds me of a person who's just very credulous, who goes to a magic show. It's a magician on stage at a place that is a magic festival, or a magician. And he watches the magician, and the magician does something, and they don't know how it's done. So therefore it is real. Oh my God, he cut that lady in half. No. They never call 911 from the audience, because the people in the audience know darn well the guy really didn't cut somebody in half. But this man is believing it's real because somebody who is his mentor has told him it's real, and because he can't figure it out. Turn the lights on and you will see what is going on. There's people wandering around, or the magicians the mediums got their hands loose and are making things happen on the table. I've saw Mark do that lots of times. And you're supposed to be holding hands with these people next to you. There are ways of making it so those people hold each other's hands, and the medium's free, and they're holding hands in front of the see some strange things. Or Mark's tied down, you're tied to the chair, and then you just release your hands and you do your thing, and then when the lights come on, you go back into the bonds again, and you look like you're tied. Oh, I'm exhausted. Did anything happen while I was out? I shouldn't be revealing these tricks, but I am not a mentalist. Was just a partner of a mentalist for 15 years. And you got to understand, this is magic tricks. And he's like, oh, we couldn't see anything. Well, yeah, you can't see anything because you don't want anybody to see anything. Because if you turn on the lights, you would see people wandering around. Okay. So I got to end this soon. So what happens, this medium he's talking about, Gary Mannion, Manion. I remember this, but I did a quick search and I couldn't find it. There was this guy, Gary Mannion, was like threatening to sue anybody who released his video, but somebody caught him in Britain. And I've seen the video. Gosh, it's got to be years ago. I don't think it's 2016. I think it's 2011 or something like that. But there is a video of him. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they had infrared cameras at like somebody had put at the top, and you can see the entire room. And he goes into a cabinet and he releases himself, and then he comes out, he takes his shirt or jacket off, and he's like going like this, and it's, oh look, it's getting windy in here. I can feel the wind. Can you feel the wind, you guys? Touching people. But they saw it all. But the guy, Gary, freaked out. And so he was threatening everybody. He's going to sue everybody. So somehow I did get to watch it, but I think it was a long time ago, and there was no way of recording it. Like now I could watch it and I could record it at the same time, because there's ways technology to do that. And nobody would know I was recording it because I was looking at it over a computer screen. So if I can find that video, I'll check around and see if somebody has that video, copy of that. But I have no problem releasing it. No problem at all. Let the guy try to sue me. But I believe that's what it was. Is the guy just couldn't, he was totally exposed. So the only thing he could do was to make excuses and to, like he said, he blamed it on the spirit that had made him do it or something. I can't even remember. Took control of him and made him do those things. I mean, what else are you going to say? I'm a fraud? I don't think he's still doing his thing anymore. I think it was really a huge exposure. Oh man, I really wish I could find that video, show you. If anybody else comes with it, put it in either private message me, send me an email, susangerbeck@yahoo or gmail.com. Send me a private message on Facebook. If you know of where that video is, please let me know. It's so much time has passed. He's probably dead now anyway. I don't know. He's probably selling real estate somewhere, or in prison, or I don't know what he's doing. I hadn't heard the name for a long time. Anyway, so Medium Drew, thank you so much for letting me go on a rant about how credulous you are, because seriously, dude, if you think all that was real, what does that say about your abilities right now? I mean, come on. Jeez. He says musical instruments would play in the room. Yeah. Yeah, they would play in the room. Yeah, we could do that. That was lockdown room, dark room. No one allowed to turn on the lights. I love that. Nobody's allowed to turn on the lights. No. Mark would be like, and other seance people would be like, you can't let go of my hands, because if you let go of my hands, there will be harm to the medium. I might die. They would say, don't break the spirit circle. That's what they would say. And the reason, and people are compliant, they'll do that. They will not break the spirit circle. The reason why he doesn't want them to take their hands and, to let go, is because if they go like this and move their hands out like this, Mark won't be able to tell they're moving hands. It's a pitch black room. And if they go like this with their hands, they're going to touch the person who's walking up, who's me, wandering around the room. So they can't be moving their hands. And then they might also turn on a light. But there have been mediums that I think Houdini used to do this, where he would turn on the lights, catch the person like in midair going, Houdini would take like the tambourine or the spirit trumpet, which is this really long trumpet. They have them in Lilydale. Long trumpet, because you want long so that you could speak into it and it appears over the, like, way into the middle of the table. That's why they're so long and, set up the way they are. But they would put like powder on like a black powder on the instrument. So after the seance is over, they can look and see if the medium has powder, this black powder on their fingers, or if there's fingerprints on the instrument. Because if it's a spirit, it shouldn't have fingerprints on it, you would think. Unless, of course, you're manifesting somebody's wife for spiritual congregate visits. What is it called? Conjugal, spiritual conjugal visits with your wife. So in that case, it's okay to be a physical being. But anyway, this poor guy. What in the world? How do you tie your shoes, dude? How is it that you have a business? How can you function? How are you functioning with I, you know, I say to myself, come on, seriously? But no, they really don't know. And they've never taken the time to go and look how this was done and how it's still being done, especially in Britain. Oh my gosh. Um, I'm leaving in a couple weeks to go to a mentalist conference that was made up of seance workers, people who do seance, bizarre magic. And they've been wonderful. I don't know if they know how many that I'm talking about the secrets, but I mean, come on, you can Google this. It's all over the freaking internet. You just look. It's not hard. That's why I'm like, Medium Drew, do you not know how to Google ectoplasm, cabinets, trumpets, musical instruments that play in the dark? I mean, it's going back to beyond before Harry Houdini. But my point is that I'm going to be going to this mentalism conference, and it's for people who are with it. In other words, they know it's fake. It's for other mentalists, and I get to go, which is really super awesome. So I'm going to be hanging out with a bunch of people who do seance. They all do it different ways. Some do it with tarot cards, some do it with candles, special kinds of candles. And so they're performing for each other and they're showing how it's done and they're sharing best practices. Of course, I'm not going to come back and tell you guys how those things are done, but I can tell you how Mark did it because, and that there's so many different ways of doing seance. It's an art form. You can hire these people to come and do a seance for you. They're not doing a real seance where they're contacting Uncle Edgar to tell you where he hid the will. No, nothing like that. It's an act. It's an act. It's just they're fun. They're really it's beautiful the way it's done, and the sleight of hand that they do. It's all kinds of different things, and it's just it shows their talents, skill. It's like magic. Magic is the whole umbrella. Mentalism is one form of magic. These people specialize in a form of magic that is called mentalism, which is like you're pretending you're real, like you're seance, or like you really are communicating with the dead, which is part of the reason why I know so much about seance work and what's going on with the psychics. And they're so freaking lazy because they're not even slightly doing the stuff that mentalists do anymore. But there's different branches of magic. I mean, you've seen card magic, people who do cards and they're really fast with the cards and they magic tricks. That is a branch of magic. There's a branch of magic that's kind of called close up, which means you sit and you can stare at their hands and it's close up. And they're doing coin magic where they take the coins and they go around on their fingers and they make coins appear. And you've seen them with like sponge balls and all kinds of stuff. Oh my gosh, that's amazing stuff. Mark had problems with his hands, so he couldn't really do that kind of stuff anymore. I just can't stand card magic, you guys. Sorry. Don't show me a card trick. I just no. There's other kinds of magic called escape magic. Like that's what Houdini specialized in, escaping from straitjackets and boxes with locks on it and stuff like that. There's branches of magic that are like the David Copperfield, which is the illusion part, where you've got these giant elaborate illusions and things happen. And the Darren Browns of the world has a different kind of magic. So there's all different branches of magic, people who specialize in certain kinds of magic. So Mark specialized in seance, mentalism. And Mark did that because I can never get off this. I'm just talking. I must be lonely or something because I'm just da, 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 da. Mark specialized in mentalism because he was a magician first, but he got really tired of just making, ta-da, look, it is a coin. Here it is, a coin in my hand. And now it's in this hand. Ta-da, applause everywhere. I got really sick of that because there was no reason for it. There was no story behind it. It was just, ta-da. I guess I could call it ta-da magic. He just got really tired of that. And Mark was more into like dark stuff, Edward Gorey, and all that dark kind of stuff. And one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, but he was really into that gothy kind of stuff. It was fun. So he would so he got into the more of the mentalism, because mentalism is stories. You telling a story. So you have to watch your cadence. You have to watch what your story is. You have to tell the story in a certain way. And you have to be expected. Things could happen. Just bizarre things could happen. If you find that other video of me talking about weird or what, I tell a lot more stories, you guys. I'm not going to do it again. But so mentalism is a storytelling thing. This object that appeared in your hand, Grandpa had it sent to your other hand. And that's why it's appeared in this other hand. And it's gone like a flash. A puff of smoke comes up. So there's a reason, there's a story behind this object doing that. It's not just a skill like sleight of hand. It's sleight of hand and a story, and it's much more interesting. So if you guys get a chance to go see a seance that's done by mentalists, go. Yeah, it's incredible. Magicians, I'm kind of over magic. It's really sad, huh? But yeah, go see a mentalist, a good mentalist. They're really something else. I'll give you a whole list of when I come back from Dallas. There's a ton of them that are my Facebook friends. They're just wonderful people, just beautiful, lovely people who don't really talk to the dead. Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm so glad I was hitting record and it's not paused. God, that freaked me out. Comments below. Thanks, everyone.